Hi, Assalamualaikum. So see you again. Uh, I'll be sharing my knowledge on our first topic, which is speaking to inform. So this topic is going to be beneficial for you when you are to present your mashallah, to present your informative speech. So let's take a walk together throughout this slide. Okay, speaking to inform, our topic today is speaking to inform. All right, I mentioned to you in my previous videos that my name is Tiana Suziana Muhammad Shah. You can call me Miss T. All right, so I don't want to waste this time. Let's understand this topic together. Okay, what is informative speech? Your first assessment is going to touch on informative speech. Hence, you need to understand what is informative speech. Informative speech is actually a speech to teach, whereby it is actually designed to convey knowledge and understanding. You are going to give the knowledge to the audience. You are going to inform the audience about what happened. For example, the topic is about COVID-19. So you are going to inform your audience on how to stay healthy. They need to use sanitizers, for example. They need to always wash their hands. So this is one of the example of informative speech. It is a speech to design that is designed to convey knowledge and understanding, right? Okay. In order for you to present an informative speech, you need to understand that there are two types of informative communication strategies. All right, two types of informative communication strategies. You need to identify the strategies at the first place before you can somehow present an excellent informative speech. Okay, so the first one is informatory. I'm so sorry, it is wrongly spelled there. Informatory. Okay, I left the word and. All right. Definitely, informatory comes from the word inform, whereby you are going to inform your audience, where the idea should be to create awareness. Okay, like I mentioned many times, the topic is about COVID-19. So you would like to create an awareness, you would like to increase awareness among the community that COVID-19 is something that is not, COVID-19 is quite a big agenda happened in our country, and we should somehow take care of ourselves in order for us to be healthy, for example. So in order for you to create awareness, in order for you to increase the awareness, you need to inform them the steps to take, the step that they should somehow take into consideration in order for them to be healthy. All right. So here you can somehow report new information. You have the data, you have the statistic shared by our minister, for example. So you would like to also report new information so that your audience could somehow understand what happened in our country nowadays or throughout the world. Okay, so there are several examples that you can take into your consideration in order for you to understand the big ideas of what is informative speech. Number one is simple direction. You can somehow inform your audience on how to use passes in your IPM. That's what we call a simple direction. You direct your audience on how to go from gate belakang Jekyll to engineering faculty, for example. Okay, and then you have brief news idea. When it comes to brief new ideas, news stories, I believe that you have watched Bulletin Utama RTM 1. You have listened to many news from that news program. Hence, definitely some of the news would somehow interest you, interest you to also inform about the news that you have listened to your friend. So now you are briefing the news stories to your friend. Maybe you would like to talk about the event happen, some murder cases happened in Kuala Lumpur. So you have listened to the news, Bulletin Utama, for example, and now you are actually presenting something that you have listened a few days ago to the audience, or maybe to your friends. Okay, number 3 is demonstration speeches. You would like to demonstrate on how to cook nasi goreng to your friend. So you demonstrate the first thing that you should do is blah blah blah, second blah blah blah. This is also what we call as informative speech. You inform your audience the steps to be taken in order to prepare nasi goreng. Okay, the next one is explanatory. Okay, you have informatory, now you have explanatory. Okay, I believe that you know explanatory comes from the word explained. Just now you inform, now you explained. All right. It is not enough for you to only inform your audience. It is good to always explain what you inform. The reason why is because you should somehow give more understanding to your audience. They should know more. Okay, they should know more, and you are actually to clarify difficult information and create understanding. For example, you would like to share about the data or the statistic about one case has happened, but it is going to be difficult to some of the people to understand that data. Hence, you can always explain the data. At the end of the day, I believe that they can understand the conclusion from the data given. All right, so these are the examples. For example, academic lectures. If I were to give you the slide, all right, the slide, only the slide, and then I ask you to somehow go through my slide and answer questions, it will be difficult to some of you to understand the jargon, okay, the ideas behind the bullet, right? It is good for you to have an explanation from me in order for you to understand some of the difficult idea, for example. Okay, philosophies as well as documentaries. You are not going to only watch history at Astro, all right? Documentaries about animals, it will be difficult for you to understand the ideas. Hence, explanation given is good in order for you to understand the life circle, for example. All right. Okay, and then the next one, we're talking about types of informative speeches. Definitely, there are going to be more than one types of informative speeches. So you can choose any of these informative speeches. I mean, any of these types in order for you to come up with your own videos very soon. All right. Okay, so number one is descriptions of description of objects. Okay, it's include anything visible, tangible, and stable in form, where it include places, structure, people, and animal. Okay, you can use chronological ideas step by step, number one, number two, number three, or topical. For example, you would like to talk about Pulau Langkawi. Okay, so maybe you can go by topical. For example, you would like to talk about the beaches at the first place, and then go to the mall that they have over there. And number three, you would like to talk about chocolate, for example. And number four, you would like to talk about the people there in Pulau Langkawi. So you can go topical by topical. I mean, topic by topic. Chronological is when you would like to talk about COVID-19, for example. So you go step by step. Number one, what you should do. Number two, the next step is. Number three, next, what's next? All right. Okay, so this is going to be the example of description of objects. It is tangible, visible, you can see. Tangible, you can touch, right? And stable in form, definitely stable in form. All right, so in order for you to come up with the ideas, it can include places like I mentioned just now, Pulau Langkawi. Structures, maybe you would like to discuss about apa tu, Formosa, right? And then people, you would like to talk about Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. And then animals, maybe some of you like cats, right? And you would like to talk about your pet. No problem, okay? All right. And then the next one is explanation or process. Okay, just now you are actually to describe objects. Now you are going to explain or process. Remember nasi goreng just now? Okay, so a systematic series of action that leads to a specific or product. So, excuse me. So you have series. Number one, you should cut the onion. Number two, you should somehow pour the oil into the pan, for example. Kan? So they will somehow follow some steps in order for you to have the product. The nasi goreng is the product. Alright. The objective of this process or this speech is actually to design to make sure your audience understand the process better. Alright, and number two is actually to design to have the listeners do the process. When they listen, oh, is that so easy to make nasi goreng? So I would like to use her explanation on how to use nasi goreng during COVID-19, definitely contoh. Okay, so you can use two strategies. Number one is chronological, one by one, or topical. Okay, or topical, topic by topic. Alright, and then the next one, the last one is event. Okay, anything that happened. I remember mentioning about news stories just now. Alright, so you would like to talk about the event happened, for example, MH370, okay, or maybe election day. So that is what we call as event, or banjir, flood that happened in Shah Alam, Siti Alam, for example. Okay, however, however, you need to make sure that you narrow down your focus. When you talk about flood, it is good for you to focus on which area. Because when you talk about the flood, for example, you would like to talk about a flood that happened in Selangor, but you do not somehow narrow to one particular place, I'm afraid that your idea is going to be that broad, terlampau besar. When it is that broad, it will make you a bit difficult to present your topic because you don't know on how, on what point to discuss. For this one, you can go step by step, chronological, or maybe you would like to talk about the cause and effect. For example, flood. The cause for this flood is because of the drain, okay, because of the sewage system, failed sewage system, and the effect is somehow on that particular area. Okay, contoh. Alright, so you can talk about cause and effect. Okay. Next, I would like to touch on strategies to reduce confusion, because I can say that from my previous semesters, most of my students, at the end of the day, the informative speech become persuasive speech, where they persuade people not to do that kind of action, for example. But here I have several strategies that you can use in order for you to reduce confusion. Number one is use analogies. Maybe what you can do is to actually have the ideas beforehand in your mind. All right, you go by chronological ideas, analogies. So you have a picture, you describe the picture, use illustration. Okay, maybe what you can do at the first place is to show the picture of flood, and then from that ideas you can say that on this date and this year there was a big flood, okay, happened in Selangor. So there we can get the ideas. We can, you can use the analogies to make sure that your audience understand what you are trying to present. And then number two, illustration. Illustration is one of the example on how to explain things. But you need to explain the picture as well. You're not going to somehow put a lot of pictures and then you are going to go by number one, number two, number three. No, darling. Illustration is actually one of the example of explanation. However, you need to also explain what picture that you are showing to your mashallah audience. Okay, Number 3, provide explanation, definition, and description. You need to always explain. Like I mentioned just now, you have the illustration, so you need to explain. If you have a definition, okay, like I mentioned just now, my topic today is informative speech. So I am now doing my lecture. Definitely, this is actually one of the example of information. One of the example of informative speech. So I have given you the definition of informative speech early in the video, okay. And description, I have given you. I have explained you the ideas of informative speech, types of informative speech, what are the strategies that you should take in order for you to present better. All right. And then the last one is needs of the audience. When you present something, when you present any speeches, you need to always identify who's your audience, because I remember informing you, you're not going to present on romance movie to those who like action movies, because at the end of the day, the session will be that bored, the session will be that dry, because no one would ever listen to your presentation because they don't like romance movie. So it is good for you to always knows your audience, right? So that's all for this topic. But before I end the class today, before I end my video today, I would like all of you to do this activity week 1. All right, the deadline for this is going to be this Friday, because I would like to use that mashallah weekend to watch your videos. Let's take a look what are the things that you should do. Okay, for activity week 1, I would like you to divide yourself in group of 5 to 6 members. I don't want you to work with other class. I would like you to work within your class members only, because it will be easier for me to find your name in attendance list, for example. Okay, the maximum for you to present your presentation is 10 minutes per presenter. So since you have 5 to 6 members, maybe it's going to be at 6 to 1 hour, but it's depending on you, because at the end of the day, this is not your real assessment, but this is going to be an activity. If you submit all 10 activity, you will get 5 marks. Okay, not 5 marks, 5%. Okay, and then number 3, the topic is going to be on self-introduction. All right, you're going to introduce yourself. Maybe you can add information, for example, hobbies, family, unique interest, or any combination. So this is what we call as topical. So you go by topic, mashallah, by topic. So the first topic is going to be your name, where you from, and then you go to hobbies, and then the third one is families, and then the next ideas would be on unique interests and any combination. Maybe you would like to add about your girlfriend, I'm not sure. Okay, maybe you would like to add about your pet, depending on your preferences. Okay, and then the next one, the activities are to be recorded on any online platform. You can use Prezi like me. You can use Gmeet, Webex, or maybe you would like to just record on your phone and then share, and then upload your video in YouTube and share the link with me. Recordings are to be uploaded in YouTube. That's all. Thank you very much. If you need any assistance, please do not hesitate to contact me. Okay, Assalamualaikum.